Welcome to the Jones Zone, a podcast by Darryl and JJ Jones.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jones Zone. Today, we are blessed with Blair Stewart. He is currently the mayor of Brea. I've actually known Blair for quite some time. He's younger, much younger than me, as you can probably see. But we both played basketball at Brea High School. So he's a phenomenal athlete.
Used to be.
Join the club. I mean, that's for sure. I remember my last game was when I was 37 years old. I was fast break and I tried to do this move and my body said, no. And I said, okay, time to retire. Anyway, so I'm sorry.
Real quick, Darryl, before you
get
that, my last game was, I'll tell you what, 2011 at a church tournament. And I ruptured my Achilles. And that was the last time I played basketball, half court or full court. So
yeah, that sometimes the body just says, you need to move on to better and brighter things, I guess.
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, explain to me how Brea is a little bit different. Not even only Brea, but smaller cities are from bigger cities. And how is Brea? Brea elects a city council, right, and then they rotate into being the mayor.
With some of the small cities in Orange County, a lot of times the mayor is appointed by city council versus some of the larger cities such as Santa Ana or Anaheim, Huntington Beach. They have at-large elections for their mayor. So it's actually a full campaign that is run and they are elected throughout the whole city. And with that, they hold a little more power. Still one vote, more power being elected by the entire city. Versus Brea and some of the smaller cities, we appoint, our city council appoints a mayor. And generally it's a rotation, but not for certain a rotation. You need to be able to work with your colleagues and one of your colleagues will nominate. And if you get enough votes, which is basically you need 3 votes, I could give myself 1. So I only really need 2 more. But the whole premise is it's technically not a rotation, but you need to be able to work well with your colleagues to be able to serve in that capacity.
There are 5 city council members.
Correct. 5 city council. One acts as is appointed as the mayor, and we have an appointment at mayor pro tem or vice mayor, and then 3 city council members each year. 2 of the seats will rotate, mayor and mayor pro tem.
And how long are the terms? How long are the terms for mayor?
Each election, each election is a 4-year term for each council member, even years. The elections are held every even year. So, for instance, 2026, we will have 3 seats open. 2028, we'll have 2 seats open, total of 5. The mayor is a 1-year term.
Okay, got it. It's got to be a little bit challenging, I suppose, because, for example, you mentioned the mayor of Anaheim. Let's take that as a comparison. That's more of a full-time job. Is that a paid position?
Oh, absolutely. Now, every city pays their city council members. And in Orange County, state of California, the pay is generally based on the population of your city. I can't get into the details of it. It's open to the public. But for instance, I can say Brea, our population is under $50,000. So technically, these last laws that came up back in 2023, we did some voting on giving ourselves raises here. We haven't had a raise in the city of Brea since early 2000s, 2002, 2004, around there. So it's been well over 20 years since we've given ourselves a raise. With our population, we could have given ourselves a raise of about $1,400 a month. That's what we get paid, but we don't get paid that in Brea. We're about half of that is what we voted on. Because this is not a job that we look to have a salary or benefits, which we don't have benefits any longer. It's a job that we do because we want to serve the city of Brea. Some of the money we get, the $700-800, is a lot. I use for gas because I'm responsible to go to different regional meetings. So a lot of that money goes to my gas. My own car. So yeah.
I think you should get paid. Yeah, I'm not opposed to paying, but I'm guessing the Anaheim mayor would get.
The Anaheim mayor gets paid, but yes, a lot of them have a nice, strong salary. City of Long Beach, well over 6 figures for being a mayor there.
So tell us, what does a typical day or week look like for the mayor of Brea?
Certainly,
walk us through that.
Well, there really isn't any real typical week, and for me, I hold a full-time job. Most of our city council members either are full-time employed or retired. In my case, I still am a full-time employee, a firefighter in the city of Torrance. So I still am on duty every day of the week. And I come back to Brea, taking vacation time and hours and things like that to come back to Brea to be able to go to meetings. And a lot of our meetings are for what city responsibilities we're doing, whether it's budget meetings, whether it's public safety meetings, working out contracts such as the solid waste contract that we've been dealing with for 1.5 years. Every aspect of the city business, from services to contracts to bringing business in to developing, These are the meetings that we hold every week, and that's just in the city of Brea. And then we go off into the county. We go off for state policy committees. I'm also on federal policy committees. So my every day of the week is some sort of meeting. In fact, Darryl, I'm flying. Like I said, I let you know I'm flying out to Washington D.C. about 12:30 today, so I'll be headed to LAX. And that is for the National League of Cities. I am on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. So we deal with national issues with transportation infrastructure, but we try to bring it down. Being a representative of that policy committee, I can focus on what Brea needs are, as well as working with my other colleagues throughout the nation. And that's just a larger voice for us to be able to address to our elected officials. We've got 800 cities here, and this is what we want. So, that's what our policy committees mainly are for, is that we group together and we're stronger as a group than we are as an individual city, to be able to address our city's concerns, our regional concerns with our elected officials, and hopefully get what our cities and our prospective agencies need from our state and from our federal government. Our basics is the city council meetings are the first and third Tuesdays of each month, and that gives our citizens an opportunity to view on TV or computer or even visit and watch a meeting to see what kind of things we are mitigating, we are resolving in their cities, what services we're going after, and also trying to keep the prices down for our citizens for these services.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this too, because when you become president, I'm just going to leverage this video like no other. So this is fantastic.
I think it takes a very rich man to be president.
Well, hey, rich,
or have a lot of rich friends, which I have neither of that. So.
Well, hey, it's still early. I mean, you have a integrity and a philosophy. Oftentimes that'll go a long way. So what are the biggest challenges? Speaking of Brea, what are the biggest challenges that may be on the docket even this month? Or, I mean, you mentioned budget.
I think when you talk about the biggest challenges for the city of Brea, it's not unlike any of the other cities that are around us or within the state and the nation. We're dealing with the high cost of living. We're dealing with various housing needs, whether it's multifamily, workforce housing. We're dealing with homelessness. These are all big issues within not only within the city of Brea, but regionally, statewide, and nationally. There's nothing special about the problems and challenges we see. So, and these are things that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Cost of living is one of the biggest issues in our nation. The cost of eggs and milk, just putting simple needs on the table has become very difficult for us. So as the city of Brea, my jurisdictions are my constituents are my residents of Brea that I want to protect and take care of. These high cost of living, what do we do with that? I mean, we have services that cost money, and unfortunately there's times where we have to increase fees to cover just normal operating costs. Our fees within the city, it's not a revenue. It is just the cost of doing business. And sometimes we have to increase those fees to be able to still provide the same gold standard that our residents require and need. Not necessarily need, but require certainly within this city. We have a great police department. We have a great fire department, public works. We have a strong infrastructure. And certainly we could always do better. Unfortunately, that costs money. And even if we stayed at the same plateau of the level of services, it still increases in financial needs. It just gets more expensive no matter what. So unfortunately and fortunately, we have a great city council that's laser focused, and our staff, and we do things, and we search for options, grants, extra money. What can we do? Can we subsidize to a certain extent to the cost of some of these services? So we're always looking and turning over rocks to see what we can do for our residents.
How does that work as far as not only you have to increase fees, but is there any help from the state, from the county, from the federal government?
Well, certainly. And unfortunately, we're not legislators, and when these cost of living goes up, it's generally due to certain policies and regulation that has been put forth from higher powers, correct? Whether it's the state level, whether it's the federal level, we have laws that we have to follow. Unfortunately, that costs us more money. What we do is we do get help from the state because obviously we pay taxes. So we do get a certain percentage back of any sales tax revenue to help us fund our city and services. We look for opportunities such as grants to help with some of our development that goes on in the city, such as like Air Vista Park, We're looking at purchasing some more property for the western extension of the Brea tracks to try to connect to La Habra. These things cost millions of dollars, sometimes tens of millions of dollars. In the city of Brea, 160 something million, $160 million budget, general operating budget, approximately. It's kind of money in and money out. Our revenue pretty much matches our expenditures. So it's not like we have a lot of money that we charge our residents and our visitors so we could have squirrel away a lot of money. It's just, our expenditures are pretty much match our revenues. And any little bit above revenues, we try to put in different funds and different savings accounts. Our reserve levels are pretty high as far as percentage. Our policy is to save money for our city. We always keep emergency reserves away. It's at 20 to 25%, where a lot of other cities are about 10% reserves. So very smaller emergency funds. But regardless, we do get help from the state and federal government. But remember, when we get help from the state and federal governments, it's really still our taxpayers' money that they're just giving back to us.
Yeah.
So we're really helping ourselves, honestly, by getting the money back that we deserve from the state and the federal government.
What do you think possibly is the most misunderstood by the public about what the city council does or what the mayor does? Any thoughts on that? Or what you wish that they knew that they didn't know?
Well, but it's an interesting question that you pose, and I haven't really given that one much thought because every person here in city of Brea does have a different idea of what we do, and even to the point of some of them think that we get paid 6 figures to do this job, so misinformed a lot of times, and what I'd like to see. We do have engagement programs such as Engage Brea that helps citizens get an idea to learn about city government, what every department does within the city. And I think if we can get more people to engage that way, we'd probably have less people questioning, hey, what does PD do? They just stand there. Fire, do they just sleep in chairs all day? No, here are the calls. Here's call volumes. These streets have potholes. Do we have a public works? I mean, if we have this program here, and I really wish that people would take more advantage of it to be able to see what we really do for the city and how hard we work to provide them with what is here in the city. It's a beautiful city. It's small, but we've got so much to offer: outdoor space, open space, amenities A through Z for restaurants and retail, education, highly awarded educations, schools and things like that. So there's a lot that Brea offers. I just wish people would dive in a little more to see how the process works for Brea.
Yeah, and it certainly does. I think part of the charm of Brea too is you and I both went through the Brea schools, and just being, and I don't know, maybe this sounds minor, but just having the one high school. Meaning everybody goes to the one high school and everybody knows each other. It's I've been in Brea my whole entire life, and it's amazing how many people that I come across that are we know from high school, etc. But I'm sure that I know that adds to a lot of the charm, and the location is beautiful to be able to see those mountains and the hills and the freeway access and the mall. It is a great place to live.
I think having one high school, one junior high, some cities might think that's a handicap, but in some respects, it's made Brea what it is today, which is almost still the same as when we were growing up. It's that special small place, although a lot more development, but I still have that sense of community, small town feel. And I still love the fact that I could walk anywhere in Brea and still bump into many people that I know, that I've known since I was a kid, even their parents. It's a special place for sure.
What role do you guys play in attracting businesses? You talked about the growth, et cetera. So what, any big businesses coming to Brea or any small businesses coming to Brea that are worth mentioning?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we have a lot of development going on, as you know, Darryl, and you being a real estate mogul, you've got your finger on the pulse. Yeah, we do have a lot of projects coming up and that are in the process, whether it's in the planning stages, permitting stages. We've got it going on. So as you know, the Simon Mall is taking their southwest corner of the mall and demoed the old Sears building. That was kind of sad, because it's interesting how the mall's changing from when we were growing up here. No,
you had to find a new place to shop and get your wardrobe from Sears. I'm just kidding. We might edit that out. I don't know.
Sears. No more Montgomery Wards from years ago. Yeah, it's certainly different to see, but exciting to see when you see these the progress that's going on. to me, it's going to be a positive thing. It's this type of growth. It's going to bring revenue to the city. It's going to bring visitors to the city. It's going to bring more amenities that people want to be able to enjoy their time and their when they reside here or visit here in Brea. So that whole mall thing is just going to be great. There's going to be
well, wait, what are we doing with Sears?
oh, well,
anyway,
Sears is gone.
what's happening?
So Sears is gone. It's been demoed, and we've actually started. The Simon Properties has already started constructing an outdoor area, and really that's the first phase. Outdoor retail and restaurants is part of the first phase. Also, a new sporting goods store. We still have our Big Five, which I'm a big fan of here. But right down the street here at the mall, we'll have Dick's Sporting Goods. It'll be 50,000 square feet. I think it will serve a different purpose than Big Five, so I don't think they'll compete with each other in a large picture view. Anyways, we also have Lifetime Gym coming in. I'm not sure if you know anything about Lifetime Gym. I don't. I know it's expensive, but it's more of a salon spa where you can spend all day with your family there. Rooftop pools. Massages, women, men getting haircuts, getting their hair done, you name it, cafes, things like that. It's not just a gym. It's a more of a spa resort type thing. I'm not sure what the monthly is on that, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure this not only citizens of Brea, but regionally, adjacent cities, even San Gabriel Valley, they might find their way here to visit this gym and become members. So
now, are there living space apartments or?
Absolutely. We have the last phase. The first couple of phases is all about making sure we get the revenue going first, and then the third phase will be an apartment complex. It'll be 5 stories. The 3 top stories are the residents, and the 2 bottom floors will be parking, one for the residents and one for the Brea shoppers. Now it's 380 apartments, and that'll be the third phase. Should be estimated completion on that end of 2027, 2020, beginning of 2028. The retail restaurants, I don't think I mentioned that. That's going to be estimated completion at 2025 sometime, end of this year. So we'll at least have the retail portion of that done and the open space amphitheaters and things like that. I can give you a kind of a list of some of the new businesses that have already signed on, if you'd like. We've got, like I said, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lifetime Fitness, Zara, Din Tao Fung, which is a very popular dumpling place in a restaurant in Costa Mesa and in downtown Disney. North Face Retail, Phil's Coffee, The Melt, Pacific Catch, North Italia, Check and Play, Garage Alley, and Uniqlo. Don't ask me what the last 2 are, but they're already signed on, and we continue to sign more. Simon Properties continues to sign on more businesses. And I think what's great about Brea is we don't really have to sell ourselves very much here in Brea. And not saying we don't sell ourselves, but a lot of businesses and retail, they come knocking at our door because they see what a special place this is to do business as well as live, work, and play, like I said.
Yeah, it's such a relatively safe city. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no place in Brea where I'd be afraid to be at 2 a.m.,
Never.
2 o'clock in the morning.
I would never be afraid of any street, any alley, any park. I would comfortably walk here and not feel afraid.
Yeah, it's a great
but
place.
we also do have others. So we've got, I know this is kind of I like to bring this up, Jamboree Housing, permanent supportive housing project that's going to be done on Brea Boulevard, where the old car wash is, and next door to Cabo Grill.
Oh,
Brea Junior High. Yeah, basically across from, is that Round Table Pizza? I forget. Across the street.
Yeah, Shakey's. I think Shakey's might be there. Okay. So, and say that again. There's a housing.
So this is it's a permanent supportive housing. This is a small plot of land that the city of Brea owns, and we have a need for supportive housing. And this goes along with our homeless in the city. So what this housing does is 39 units and one bedroom units, and you could have a total of 3 people in there. And what the idea is, a couple and maybe their small child. No more than that. But I know a lot of people worried, and businesses worried, that this was going to be, for lack of better description, the projects. It's going to turn into the projects, and by far that's not the case. This is just a supportive housing project, and it's because we still own the property. We have enforcement teeth on this. If these buildings become in disrepair or not maintained very well, we can go in there and enforce it because we own the land still. So that gives us some enforcement teeth. But the whole focus on this project is to help those that just cannot afford a place to live, whether it's rent or buy. In these cases, mainly maybe rent an apartment or townhome. As you know, the prices of housing is astronomical, especially in this region, especially in the region of Southern California. These units will allow them to have a place to live, but there's requirements for them to live here. These are just people we take off the streets that have no jobs, have no ties to the city. These are people that have jobs. They must have a job, but they might be still living in a car or on someone's couch or in a garage because they can't make ends meet. This is a resource that we feel we can at least get them in a home because they have jobs, they are responsible, but we also have services there for them: veteran services, childcare services, employment services, mental health services. So to be able to get them to transition to a higher level or more independent level of living. So it's not a permanent place for them to live the rest of their life. It's a step to get them in the right direction.
Part 2 comes out next week, where Mayor Blair discusses with Darryl about the new housing developments, including Brea 265. Stay tuned, only on the Jones Zone.